this point. I hope you can realize. I know you see it crystal clear. So I see on my own sexy body in the. I'll always love you. Go on. You gotta touch that. I don't want your pieces, angels and demons. Oh, please don't run away with my alone. And you know that I know, 'cause he would never hurt me, let alone just as now. Don't need a house with a little kiss when your man got a big ego. Running on the cake, no. Baby, call me crazy, 'cause I know you know very well who you are. Don't survive. We stay wild, just speeding down the road and my head out of control.
Hey, do you love the way I do when I'm loving your body? When I'm loving your body.
What if Tamar Braxton isn't the villain we've all been warned about, but the only one brave enough to expose what's really going on behind the scenes? For years, every explosion within the Braxton family seemed to orbit around Tamar. The yelling matches, the walk-offs, the social media shade. She's always at the center. But here's the thing. What if we've been looking at it all wrong? Because behind every messy headline and viral meltdown is a pattern that might reveal Tamar isn't causing the chaos. She's just refusing to stay quiet about it. And now, the family's latest blow-up may have just exposed everything they've been trying to hide for over a decade. So is Tamar a drama queen, a misunderstood truth-teller, or something way more complicated? Let's get into it. Before Tamar Braxton was setting timelines on fire with messy feuds and meme-worthy moments, she was mostly known as Toni Braxton's little sister. And let's be real, being the baby of the family is one thing, but being the baby of a world-famous R&B powerhouse? That's a shadow few people ever escape. But Tamar? She had zero intention of being anyone's backup singer, literally or figuratively. For years, she fought to be heard, but the industry and even her own family seemed to overlook her. That all changed in 2011 when Braxton Family Values hit WETV. While the show was supposed to center around Toni's career and a wholesome sisterhood storyline, Tamar walked in and completely flipped the script. From episode 1, she stole the spotlight with her loud personality, unfiltered commentary, and endless facial expressions that instantly became gifs. Audiences didn't just notice, they were obsessed. Tamar brought the drama, the laughs, the chaos, and the ratings. And while her sisters often seemed annoyed by her behavior, producers clearly saw the value. Tamar wasn't just good television, she was the show. But she wasn't content being a reality star. In 2013, Tamar released her breakout album Love and War, and it shook people who had dismissed her as just the funny one. Her vocals were powerful. The title track hit #1 on iTunes and earned 3 Grammy nominations. Suddenly, she wasn't just the loud sister, she was a legitimate artist. From that point on, Tamar was everywhere, hosting talk shows, doing reality competitions, launching podcasts. She had finally stepped out of Toni's shadow and into a spotlight all her own. Once Tamar stepped into her own spotlight, the fame came fast, but so did the friction. Because as much as she was winning in the public eye, behind the scenes, Tamar was already being labeled the problem. And not just by fans, by her own sisters. It started subtly. Petty jabs, shady comments, awkward silences that played out on national television. But things escalated quickly. Tamar was constantly clashing with someone. Tawanda, Trina, even Tracy. At one point, she accused Tawanda of being jealous of her success. Then there was the fallout with Tracy over Tamar's solo ambitions, which struck a nerve since Tracy had once been cut from the original Braxton music group. Tamar's timing? Not exactly gentle. And the pattern didn't stop at home. In 2016, Tamar's sudden firing from the daytime talk show the real, set off a full-blown media storm. Fans were shocked, but Tamar, she was furious. She went public with claims that her co-hosts, Adrienne Bailon, Jeannie Mai, and Loni Love, had secretly plotted her removal. The show's producers denied everything, but the damage was done. Tamar felt betrayed, humiliated, and painted as the difficult one yet again. Then came accusations against producers of her own reality shows. She claimed she was being edited to look crazy, that she was being manipulated for drama. But by then, the narrative was already set. If something went left, people blamed Tamar. But here's the thing. Was she really stirring the pot? Or was she just reacting to the chaos around her? Because sometimes the dramatic one is just the one who refuses to stay silent. Was Tamar really the villain? Or was she just the one bold enough to say what everyone else was thinking out loud, with a camera in her face? Either way, one thing was clear. Tamar had become the lightning rod of the Braxton family, and whether she deserved it or not, she was now the person everyone loved to blame when things went sideways. In 2022, the Braxton family suffered a devastating loss. Tracy Braxton passed away after a private battle with cancer. And in the wake of that tragedy, the sisters made a public promise. No more drama, no more fighting. They were going to honor Tracy's memory with unity, love, and healing. But behind the scenes, that peace didn't last long. Instead of growing closer, the sisters seemed to drift further apart. The grief was real, but so were the unresolved issues. Decades of built-up tension, jealousy, and unspoken resentment began bubbling back to the surface. And once again, Tamar found herself in the center of the storm. When news broke that the Braxtons were working on a new reality series, fans hoped it would be a fresh start, a more mature, drama-free version of the family they grew up watching. But before filming even got going, things were already falling apart. Reports started leaking that production had been halted. Fights were breaking out on set. And the most shocking detail? Toni Braxton, usually calm, collected, and the peacemaker, had stormed off. That's how bad it got. The promise they made after losing Tracy was unraveling fast. And of course, fingers were pointed straight at Tamar. Again, some claimed she couldn't help but bring the chaos. Others believed she was just being used as the scapegoat again. But maybe the fighting wasn't about Tamar at all. Maybe it was grief, guilt, and decades of dysfunction finally reaching a boiling point. Because this wasn't just reality television drama anymore. It was pain, playing out on camera. Just when the Braxtons desperately needed calm, Tamar did what only Tamar can. She lit a match and dropped it straight into the middle of the family powder keg. Her latest move? Bringing Ashley Braxton, their niece, onto the new reality show. Now, on the surface, that might seem harmless. It's a family show, right? What's wrong with including family? But here's the thing, Ashley isn't just any niece. She's the one at the center of a scandal the Braxtons have been trying to forget for years. Back when Ashley was just 16, she claimed that Trina's then-husband Gabe had sent her inappropriate messages. Instead of standing by her, Trina allegedly turned on her niece, blaming her, accusing her of seduction, and cutting her off entirely. It wasn't just messy, it was betrayal, family style. Years later, Tamar chose sides. Publicly. She backed Ashley, spoke up for her, and now, she gave her a platform on national television. And let's just say, the Braxton sisters were not here for it. Sources say Ashley didn't just show up for a cute cameo. She came with receipts. She aired out the past, reignited old wounds, and sent the entire family spiraling. Trina was blindsided. Tawanda was furious. And Toni? She allegedly walked off set again, refusing to film another minute with Tamar involved. Tamar defended her decision, saying she was trying to heal the family by confronting the truth. But her sisters weren't buying it. They saw it as betrayal, another publicity stunt wrapped in family healing. So now the question is, was Tamar really trying to reunite the family? Or did she know exactly what she was doing? Because this move didn't just stir the pot, it flipped the whole table. The moment Ashley Braxton walked onto set, the vibe shifted. And not in a good way. Whatever peace the sisters had left instantly shattered. Producers thought bringing in Ashley might create some emotional resolution. Instead, it blew up the entire show. From the jump, everything unraveled. Tension was already sky high, but Ashley's presence sent it into overdrive. Arguments broke out on and off camera. Old wounds reopened. And according to insiders, the sisters weren't just fighting, they were exploding. Toni Braxton, known for keeping it classy even when things get messy, allegedly stormed off set. Again, not quietly either. Word is, she was fed up with the drama, tired of Tamar's antics, and done with the family pretending to heal when all they ever do is tear each other down. And she wasn't the only one. Trina felt blindsided. Tawanda was heated. Production was halted. And suddenly, the whole series was hanging by a thread. Online, the blame game started immediately. Fans pointed fingers at Tamar, accusing her, again, of being the root of the chaos. But Tamar wasn't having it. She defended herself on social media and behind the scenes, saying she was simply standing up for Ashley and trying to bring truth to the surface. But here's where it cuts deep. All of this came after the sisters promised they'd stick together following Tracy's death. They swore they'd choose unity over ratings, healing over headlines. That promise? Clearly broken. So what really caused this fallout? Was it Tamar being Tamar? Was it Ashley bringing up what no one wanted to face? Or was it the ugly truth that this family has never truly healed, and the cameras just keep exposing what's always been there? One thing's for sure, the damage was done, and this time it might be permanent. Let's talk about what really fuels family drama: money. And in the Braxton household, the paychecks don't lie. Sources say Tamar and Toni are securing six-figure deals for the new reality series, while the rest of the sisters? Allegedly pulling in far less. We're talking major disparity. And if that's true, it's not hard to imagine why the tension keeps boiling over. Now picture this. You've been showing up to film, exposing your private life, rehashing trauma on camera. And then you find out your sister, the one constantly at the center of the chaos, is making double or triple your rate. That's not just a pay gap. That's a powder keg. Tamar originally claimed she didn't even want to be on the new show, said she was done with reality television. But then she swoops in at the last minute, signs a lucrative deal, brings in Ashley, stirs up controversy, and walks away with the biggest bag. And the rest of the sisters? Left feeling underpaid and disrespected. Insiders say that this paycheck drama could be the real reason Toni walked off set, not just because of Tamar's behavior, but because of what's happening behind the scenes. If Toni feels like the family is being used for profit while only a few benefit, that's not just annoying, it's personal. And let's not forget, reality television thrives on conflict. Producers want the drama, and the one who brings it consistently, aka Tamar, is usually the one cashing the biggest checks. So now the question becomes, is Tamar stirring the pot to help the show succeed? Or to help herself? Because whether it's intentional or not, every feud, every viral moment, every headline equals more money. And Tamar? She knows how to keep the cameras rolling and the checks coming. At this point, we've got to ask, is Tamar Braxton just another reality television casualty? Or is she the one running the show from behind the scenes? Because let's be honest, Tamar isn't new to this. Every time she accidentally starts drama, ratings spike. Every feud, every clapback, every walk-off turns into a trending topic. And who benefits from that? The network, the producers, and yep, Tamar. She knows her value. She knows that love her or hate her, people watch her. So maybe she's not the victim of bad editing or unfair blame. Maybe she's the only one playing the game exactly how it was designed. But here's the twist. What if Tamar isn't the one pulling the strings? What if she's being used? Think about it. Every time the show needs a boost, Tamar's name ends up in the headlines. What if the producers are setting her up to be the villain, feeding her just enough rope to hang herself with? Because it's easy to pin the chaos on the loudest person in the room. But sometimes that person is reacting, not initiating. Still, Tamar's not new to the spotlight. She's been in the industry her entire life. She understands how media works. So maybe the better question is, why wouldn't she lean into it? After all, being the difficult one gets her the biggest check. It gets her booked. It keeps her relevant. And while the rest of her family tries to protect their image, Tamar cashes in on hers. So is she the puppet dancing to the network script, or the puppet master controlling the chaos for maximum profit? Whichever it is, one thing's certain. Tamar always finds a way to stay center stage. Here's the part nobody really wants to admit. Maybe Tamar isn't the root of the Braxton chaos. Maybe she's just the loudest symptom of a family that's been fractured for years. Because when Tracy Braxton passed, the sisters stood side by side and made a public promise. Unity, healing, no more petty drama. But instead of coming together, they've only grown further apart. And the fighting? It's gotten uglier. Grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like denial. Sometimes it looks like rage. And sometimes it looks like reality television chaos. What if the Braxtons aren't fighting because they don't care? What if they're fighting because they're hurting? Tamar, for all her messiness, may be using her personality as armor. The shade, the yelling, the bold moves. What if that's how she copes? Maybe she keeps the cameras rolling not to destroy the family, but to force them to finally deal with the pain they keep sweeping under the rug. And the other sisters? Maybe their anger isn't really about Ashley or screen time. Maybe they're tired of having their secrets dragged into the spotlight. Maybe they blame Tamar not for lying, but for telling too much truth, because deep down, the Braxtons have always been dysfunctional. But Tamar's the one who ripped the curtain all the way back, and that takes a different kind of bravery. So is Tamar the chaos agent, or just the only one refusing to play pretend? So after all the walk-offs, the clapbacks, the scandals, and sisterly showdowns, what is Tamar Braxton really left with? Her net worth sits comfortably around $3 million. Not bad, but still overshadowed by Toni's estimated $10 million empire. She doesn't have the Grammys, the decades of hits, or the global legacy. But let's be clear, Tamar's currency isn't just money, it's attention. And in today's media world, attention is more valuable than any chart position. Tamar's mastered the art of staying relevant. She doesn't disappear when a season wraps. She doesn't fade after the drama dies down. Somehow, some way, she always ends up back in the spotlight, whether through music, talk shows, viral moments, or full-blown internet chaos. Some call it messy. Others call it marketing. Because here's the truth. Tamar might not be the most polished or the most liked, but she's one of the most watched. And in reality television, that's the ultimate power move. Ratings love her. Blogs can't resist her. Even her critics can't stop clicking. But here's the real kicker. Was this her plan all along? Did Tamar lean into her role as the difficult one to take control of her narrative? Or has she been manipulated into that role for years? Boxed in as the villain just to keep the cameras rolling? Whether she's a mastermind or misunderstood, one thing's for sure. Tamar Braxton knows how to stay booked, trending, and talked about. So now it's your turn. Is Tamar the problem? Or just the realest Braxton of them all? Drop your take in the comments. And don't forget to like and share this video, because something tells us the next chapter in this family saga is just getting started.